I came over in the spring of 1963. I was 19 years old, and I must say I did go to school in Denmark, but we were never taught that there was anything on beyond England. And then I just came here and I fell in love with the place. I came back 2005, so 17 years I'm back now. The rest is history, as you say here. Oh, that lighthouse. Any paintings here that has a lighthouse in it and the wee boat sailing, that's the seller for any artist. We love our lighthouse. You see, there was a lighthouse keeper up there. And I even remember it from way back in the 60s when I was first here, where the cannon went, ever so often. I was living down the front in one of the houses there, and I could hear it during the night when it was foggy outside. So many boom booms, and that means you're now Whitehead, don't come any closer, because we have a rock or two here that you could see.
I'm Whitehead, born and bred, 1953, which makes me nearly 69. I had a very idyllic childhood in Whitehead. It's sleepy, seaside town. The swimming pool was there, and that really was the centre, even when I was very young, of my growing up. Yeah, never ever wanted to leave it now.
Well, I was blowing. I arrived.
That's the term for anybody that hasn't lived
here. Yeah,
here.
if you haven't lived here, I was blowing. I arrived in 1964 from Scotland. No. But the thing about it, the whole town was, well, certainly in those days, it was certainly safe enough to go out anywhere, anytime. The troubles here sort of stopped things. All the tourists stopped coming. Yeah. I mean, Whitehead used to be a thriving place in the summer with all the tourists from England and Scotland, everywhere. Seafront was like Blackpool, you could hardly move. And but of course, when the troubles came, everybody stopped coming. That didn't help.
When we were first socialising, the Whitecliff was absolutely the centre. But it's not the same Whitecliff that you have today. It was a different layout, a different footprint. The old Whitecliff was destroyed by a UVF bomb and rebuilt on the configuration it is now. I just have fabulous memories of it. It was because I was coming from North Belfast as well, which was basically a war zone, and coming here every weekend, I mean, it was like stepping outside your reality and stepping into something else. It was a different world altogether. But when we got back into Belfast, it was in the old York Road station, which is now York Gate, and it literally was like walking into a war zone. When we stepped out of that station, there were plumes of smoke, and we would plot how we were getting home to avoid the smoke, because the smoke meant a fire, or a car on fire, or a bomb had gone off, or whatever in the town. I mean, that was an absolute. That was
You had to go over
that was the
barricades to
sharp
get into
end.
their own houses.
Yeah, it was a sharp end. So you made sure they got home, and I was usually the last one because I lived furthest away from the station. But it was, you were back in, and then the next weekend, you couldn't wait to get and step outside that and go into a different bubble.
Yeah, it was. Well, I was going to say Whitehead was mostly untouched.
But then
I know there were a few problems.
It did.
But the people in the towns got on with each other. And
people in the town did.
There was never any problems that way.
In Whitehead, it was cross community. There were Catholics and Protestants. And, I don't know what else was in it, and they didn't really do any of that nasty stuff. So it did. I mean, things did happen here, but not to the extent, and certainly not until much later.
No.
The Marine has always been a bizarre sort of place, with a very bizarre reputation in the town. I mean, I know I've spoken to some of our, let's say, more buttoned up middle class people in Whitehead who think basically that the Marine is a decadent, debauched hole in the wall. I said, yeah, great, that's why I like it. But they have a really, really, really bizarre notion of what the Marine is like. I said, have you ever actually been in? Oh, I wouldn't go in there. You know, as if you catch something. Well, you catch a crack. you would catch a sense of humour. Shindig evolved from regular sessions in the Marine on a Thursday night, and we've been doing that gig now every Thursday, unpaid, every single week for 15 years. It's all word of mouth. It's all old school word of mouth, basically. But we love what we do. We don't rehearse. We just do, and it evolves. And any Thursday night at all, if you're in Whitehead, you'll find us in the Marine until we drop, I suppose.
Every second person you meet had a father. He was a painter, or he was a musician, and that has been left down to the him or her, artist. And it's just, I mean, it has inspired me to join groups also, because I think probably because you are out so far, the next stop is America, that you are bound to maybe stay here and make your own entertainment. I don't feel I need to go anywhere. I get all the inspiration from here. After all, I'm going to die here. And I'm going to be thrown into the sea.